Hi everyone, welcome to our presentation on financial advice, fees and charges. Please take a second to read the disclaimer before the presentation itself starts. I hope you enjoy this and find it useful. Thank you. Hi everybody, my name is Abraham Ace. I'm a Chartered Financial Planner with Atticus Financial Planning. Thank you very much for joining us for today's session on how you pay for financial advice. The session came about just because one of my friends recently saw their financial advisor and they came to me and they said, look, can you just explain these charges, because it just seems quite complicated to me. And I agree. In the interests of providing clarity, we have made financial advice charging quite complicated. So I've broken it down into bite-sized chunks. Hopefully that'll help you to understand it. All right, so I've broken it down into the initial charge and then the ongoing charge, which is this bit over here. All right, so let's just start with the initial charge. You approach a financial advisor, you've got £100,000 to invest, you give them the £100,000 and they provide you with advice on that. And then what they'll do, depending on whether they invest in a pension or into a general investment account, an ISA, they will put together a recommendation and then they'll charge you a fee for that advice, that initial advice on where to invest that money and also setting it up. And that's charged normally as a percentage of the amount of money that you've given them, or it's charged as a fixed fee. Okay, so if it's as a percentage, that can be anywhere from sort of 1% to 5% with some financial advisors. So if it's 1%, then basically you're paying £1,000 for the advice, and actually that can be paid to the financial advisor either directly from your own bank account, or it can be paid out of the investment, out of the product itself. Okay, sometimes, it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes there might also be a initial fee or a product fee for investing into a product. Happens a lot with enterprise investment schemes and venture capital trusts, and that can be anywhere from 2% to 3%. So it's just worth being aware of that as well, because obviously that's going to affect your overall performance. Okay, so that's the initial fee. Right, then having invested the £100,000, you may want that financial advisor to continue managing those assets for you and continue providing you with advice. So we then start looking at an ongoing charge for advice, and that is the advice fee. Once again, it's normally a percentage of the money that's been invested or the assets that are being managed, or it can be a fixed fee agreed right at the outset, and that can be paid directly out of your own personal bank account to the financial advisor, which gives you an element of control and also creates less drag on your investment. Or it can be paid from the investment or from the product. The average fees in this for the advice fee is about 0.5% through to 1.25% I've seen. And that is just paying for the financial advisor who continues to provide you with advice. It's worth finding out what you're getting for that. Yeah, but that's not the only fee that you're going to actually pay. So if the financial advisor recommends a general investment account or an ISA, what they'll do is they'll need to be held on a platform provided by somebody. It could be Transact, for example, or Fidelity, Funds Network, but they'll have to be held on a platform somewhere. Or alternatively, if they recommend investing into a pension or into an offshore bond, then they'll have to be held within an offshore bond wrapper or pension wrapper. And the providers of those platforms and those pension wrappers or offshore bonds, they're going to want to get paid as well. Okay, so then you get a platform charge, and that's normally a percentage or a fixed fee depending on what you're using. And then that is paid from the product, so you're not having to write a check every single month and send it out. And that can be, I've seen as low as 0.1% for platform charge, but in reality, it normally between 0.15% and 0.5%. And you know, the platforms, they provide a really useful function, keeping all your investments together. They provide regular statements. They provide easy access for you to view the performance of your investments and your holdings. And also they can provide capital gains tax statements, etc. So they're very useful, so worth paying for. Then your financial advisor, apart from just recommending a platform, he's also going to then take your money and he's going to invest that into a portfolio of funds. And that'll probably be quite a diverse portfolio and be in different funds. And those funds are companies like Vanguard or Invesco Perpetual or M&G, Prudential, all sorts of fund providers. Now, once again, those fund providers aren't doing it for nothing. They're managing the investments and the investment decisions within those funds, and they're going to want to get paid for that. And once again, they'll be paid for that service, and that'll be taken as a percentage, and it'll be normally taken from within the fund. Well, it is taken from within the fund. And then if we have a look here, average fees, it can be really low, all the way down to 0.1% per annum, and really high, all the way through to 2.3% per annum. So you've got that layer of charges in there, and then also within those funds, there are what are internal fund costs, which you're not going to see. They are to do with the actual running of the fund itself and the administration of the fund, and no one really knows what that cost is. So we can estimate what that cost is, and it can be up all the way up to 1% per annum. All right, so all of these costs are then combined together. If we have a look under here, all the costs are combined together to give you your total expense ratio. All right, so what your total expense ratio is all these ongoing costs combined together, or a total ongoing charge, and that can be anywhere from 1% per annum all the way through to 3% per annum. What you're paying at the end of the day is this. But to provide you with clarity on where the fees are actually going, we've broken it down into these individual sections so you know exactly where your money's going. And it's a bit like if you were going out and you bought a car for £20,000, what you're actually paying for the car is £20,000. But if we then went, okay, your total expense for the car is £20,000, but actually the wheels, they're from Michelin, and they cost £2,000. Okay, and we put that in there. And then we said the windscreen is a special flexiglass windscreen. Okay, and that's been designed by Saab, and that's another £1,000. And we add that in, and that's all we've done. So in reality, your ongoing cost is the total expense ratio. What we've done is we've just broken that down into who's receiving what. Okay, so just to highlight that once again, you've got your initial charge, and then you've got your ongoing charges, and those are broken down. It's a total expense ratio, which is broken down, just showing you where each element of that total expense ratio is being paid. Right, that brings us to the end of the session. It's a fairly short one today. I hope that brings a bit of clarity to the situation. If you have any questions about this, please feel free just to give us a call. There'll be a slide in a couple of seconds which has got our contact details. Apart from that, I hope you have a wonderful day and all the best. Hi everybody, thanks once again for joining us for today's session. I hope you found it really useful. If you'd like any further information, all our contact details are below. Please feel free to get in touch with us anytime. Have a great day.